Okay. And apparently it's transcribing as well, which is something I didn't know it was going to do. That's all right. Okay. All right, try this again. So welcome everyone. So during this presentation, I'll be going through just some commonly asked questions that I get each year for people getting posted in. Oh, I do see Anciette, you have a question? Did you just raise your hand by accident? I'm going to keep going then. I will say for any francophones, just going to speak in French real quick. Donc, pour les francophones, si vous avez des questions, s'il te plaît, sachez que je peux les répondre en français. La présentation sera en anglais, mais si vous avez des questions, s'il y a quelque chose qui n'est pas clair, sentez-vous libre de me demander. Je serai heureuse de répondre en français. Puis, on peut aussi s'organiser pour avoir une autre rencontre une autre fois qui sera complètement en français. OK. Merci. All right. So to begin, we here in Winnipeg would like to acknowledge that we are gathered on Treaty 1 territory, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, Dene people, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. I'd also just like the opportunity to share that here in Winnipeg, there is an amazing assortment of Indigenous art and culture. It's a great opportunity to get out and see all those things. Go and try some bannock bread, it's delicious. Real quick, just so you know what to expect, this is our agenda. So I'll go through real quick what it looks like to clear in here, some relocation supports available to you, an intro to Winnipeg, things to do here, good things to know about your Manitoba health card applications, finding family doctor, Manitoba public insurance, employment supports for your significant others, and some safety information, and then some information about housing, so like about residential housing units, so that's with CFHA, and connecting with the community. And then I will take a quick pause for questions before we move on to school and childcare. I do that because I realize there's a lot of you that are tuning in who may not have kids and don't need information about school and childcare. So I like to put a little pause there so that you can ask those questions. And then if you don't have kids and you're not interested in learning about school and childcare, then I will not be offended at all. You can say, see you later, and you can carry on with your evening. And then we'll, after that, we'll go on to school, education, sports, childcare, and connecting with other families, and then some questions. So first off, like I said, usually when you arrive to Winnipeg and you are doing your clear-in meeting, so that's for the members who are doing their clear-in meeting, it's usually about like a 10-15 minute meeting with me. This is just a time where I check in, see how your family is doing, see if there are any needs that we can help with. The good news is that a lot of the things that I would go through typically in a clear-in meeting, I will be covering today. So if you do come by the MFRC to clear in, I'll probably just get you to fill in a form and you'll say, I attended this info session, and I'll say, great, then you already know, I'd say 99% of what I'm going to tell you anyways. So it'll help speed that up for you. And if you would like to book a clear-in meeting, you're welcome to do so by contacting me, or you can just show up. You can also come by during your HHT and do the same thing. I highly recommend people bring their significant others or their families with them during the meeting, just because it's a great opportunity for everyone to ask questions. We have a playroom here. We have a youth space with a foosball table and an air hockey table. So it's also something that the kids really enjoy, especially if you're living out of a hotel during your HHT or whatnot, and they need to run around. It's a great time to do that while we have a chat. Here's a couple resources for you regarding relocation support. So a lot of what we're speaking about tonight, you can go onto our website and find the information there as well as some of the links. And then there's some really great relocation support info on the national website as well. So things like checklists and just kind of best practices and everything that are good to know. So let's get into Winnipeg. So I know a lot of people, when they hear Winnipeg, they just think, oh, cold. But there's a lot more to it than that. Winnipeg is the 6th largest city in Canada, and it's the 2nd sunniest city in Canada, with over 2,350 hours of sunlight annually. So yes, it gets cold, but the sun is practically always shining, which is really nice and helps with those winter blues. In the summer, it can get as hot as 35 like it is right now. It's not even officially summer yet, so you know it does get hot in Winnipeg. And in the winter, it can get very cold, as cold as like -40. So if you're coming from a milder place, I definitely recommend looking into getting a block heater for your vehicle if it doesn't already have one, and getting into the habit of plugging it in on those really cold nights. Don't make the same mistake I did when I first moved here from the Maritimes, forgetting to plug in. Car did not start the next morning. So yeah, learn from my mistakes. And despite the cold, it is the Slurpee capital of the world for 23 years running now. I guess Winnipeggers just like to embrace the cold. There's over twice as many Slurpees that are sold here in Winnipeg than there is anywhere else in Canada each year. So, fun fact. And Manitoba has over 100,000 lakes, covering approximately 16% of the province. So just because we're landlocked in the middle of the country does not mean that you can't enjoy some time by a lake or on the beach. There's some great spots to go camping around here, and lots of really nice lakes and places to go. Lots of fishing as well. Some things to do. So there's lots to do here in Winnipeg. Some of the kind of biggest attractions and things to do. I'll start with the Forks. So the name of the place really doesn't describe what it is very well, but it's named the Forks because it is where a river forks here in the city. It's got a lot of historic significance. It's where trade used to happen for a very long time. And then now it's just a really great spot downtown. There's a lot of shops, there's a market, some beautiful trails. In the winter, actually, they flood some of those trails so you can skate the trails, which is really cool. And then it's also the home of the next thing that's right here, the Museum of Human Rights. It's actually a very famous museum here. It's beautifully made. The architecture is quite something. And it's also just a really, really unique and powerful experience. I definitely highly recommend it. I recommend you set aside a whole day for it. You will need an entire day for it. There's also the Manitoba Museum and the Winnipeg Art Gallery that I will actually speak about a little bit more in the next slide. Also the home of the Royal Canadian Mint here in Winnipeg. And if you are a sports fan, you've got plenty of options. You can go see some games here in the city. We've got the Blue Bombers here, Gold Eyes, the Jets, and the Sea Bears. So lots of opportunity to catch some great sports matches, games, whatever you want to call them, depending on the sport. And then there's some great festivals as well. So each year there's the Winnipeg Folk Fest, the Manitoba Music Fest, the Fringe Theatre Festival, Folkorama, which is a really interesting, really cool multicultural event that happens each year. And then there's also Festival du Voyageur, which is the image that you're seeing here is from Festival du Voyageur. It's a big celebration of the Francophone culture and community here in Winnipeg. And of course, there's all sorts of awesome snow sculptures all over the city. Again, very much embracing the cold. And then there's also some world-class performances here. So if you're a lover of the arts, there's some great opportunities. Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra is here, the Manitoba Opera Association, the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. So some really great opportunities to take in lots of culture and lots of things to do here in Winnipeg. Here at the MFRC, we try to make that a little bit easier for you, for our military families. We have our program called the Lending Library, and that's where you can pay a membership fee of $30 for the whole year, and that covers for your whole family. And you can borrow passes to these 3 attractions as often as you want. So the first one is Fort White Alive. There's a picture there. Actually, that's a brand new addition they just made onto the park. It's a conservation area with some trails for walking and biking. You can rent canoes and kayaks there. There's some buffalo that you can see. And there's some really interesting kind of information and displays about Manitoba wildlife and vegetation and all that kind of stuff. It's a really nice day outside. And then there's the Manitoba Museum. Let's see a picture here. There's lots to do at the Manitoba Museum. There's the main gallery, which is very interesting and very honestly well done. I like a lot of museums, and I will say that it's a pretty good museum. And then the lower level actually has a kids like science discovery center. I know my kids could spend an entire day there. And there's also the planetarium that puts on multiple shows a day, some for kids, some for adults. So there's lots to do there. And then there's also the Winnipeg Art Gallery, which is home to the world's largest collection of Inuit art. So lots to see there as well. So yeah, if you're interested in that, you can pop by the MFRC when you arrive, and I'll be happy to set you up with that. All right, on from that fun stuff to some of the maybe a little bit more important stuff. Well, not more important. It's important to have fun too. But Manitoba health cards. So a lot has changed for Manitoba health cards in the last year, but I'm happy to say that it's changed for the better. If you had been attending this session a year ago today, I would have been telling you that the wait times for the health cards were almost 6 months, and you would have been very unhappy about that. But thankfully, they've caught up, and now the wait time is only 4 weeks. So yay. And they've also switched, so you'll probably see people here with health cards that look like flimsy little pieces of paper that are all tattered and torn. Well, you're lucky you're getting here just in time to have these nice new plastic ones. Yes, Manitoba had paper ones until this year. They finally have plastic ones. So that's great news. You can apply, the 3-month waiting period is waived for Canadian military families in Manitoba. So you don't have to wait to apply for your health cards. As soon as you have an address here, you can apply for your health cards. You can apply either in person or online. To apply online, it's a good idea to check out kind of what documents you'll need and such. A special note for those living or planning to live in residential housing units. So that's the new term for PMQs, if you're not aware. It's for your significant other, if they are not a military member themselves, just note that on your lease, only the member's name will be on the lease. And one of the proofs of address that they ask for while applying for your health card is a proof of address, like a lease or something like that. It's an easy fix, though. You can just ask CFHA for a copy of, and I think it'll actually be in your contract either way. It's a different page that just has a list of people living in that residence, so you can just submit that instead, and they should accept it. So yeah, like I said, checking out that supporting documents checklist is a good idea, just so you know you have all your ducks in a row before you make that application. And if you bump into any issues at all, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I'll be happy to help you with that. For family doctors, thankfully, you'll be happy to hear that there is not a huge shortage of family doctors here. I know that there is in many other provinces. Here, you should be able to find a family doctor fairly quickly. There's a couple different ways that you can find a family doctor. You can reach out to the Manitoba Family Doctor Finder. I know that they're a little bit pickier. They like you to have a Manitoba health card already. So you can either wait until you have your health card to contact them, or you can also reach out directly to the Canadian Military Family Doctor Network. They will help you find a family doctor even before you have your health cards. But honestly, like I said, there's not a huge shortage. So what you can also do is, once you know the area that you're moving to, look up clinics near your home, and it's worth it to actually just give them a call and see if they're taking new patients. You might get lucky. And you know, these options are great because you will get a family doctor. However, they probably won't take your postal code into account when assigning you a family doctor. So you might get a family doctor that you need to drive like a good 45 minutes to get to, which is fine, still better than no family doctor. However, of course, if you have the choice and you can reach out to some local clinics, then why not, right? And while you're waiting to get your family doctor, there's a couple other options as well. There's QDocs and Maple. I know a lot of people are probably familiar with Maple. They're both essentially the same, access to online doctor's appointments, prescription refills, that kind of thing. All you need is a health card from any province. It doesn't need to be a Manitoba health card, so that's nice. The only difference is that QDocs is actually local. It's based out of Manitoba. So the nice thing is that you'll be talking to a doctor most likely here in the city. So if ever there was something that you're discussing with a doctor on an online, on a virtual appointment, and they say, hey, you know what, I'd like to see you in person, they could actually give you their clinic address, and you could go see that doctor in person, which is kind of a nice added benefit. All right, on to Manitoba public insurance. So here in Manitoba, auto insurance is all under Manitoba public insurance. I know most other provinces you get to shop around for your auto insurance. Here it's all under MPI, is what we call it, Manitoba public insurance. Your home insurance and your life insurance, you can still choose whatever organization you want to purchase that from, but auto is under MPI. They also do have life insurance and home insurance. If you just wanted to bundle everything under one, you totally can. As a new Manitoba resident, you have to make the switch to a Manitoba license and registration within 3 months of your arrival. And to do so, you'll need to visit a MPI branch with the following. It's worth noting that there is an MPI branch right across from the main gates to the base. It's called Baldwinson Insurance. You can go to any MPI across the city, but just so you know, they're right there. And of course, their bread and butter is doing exactly this, helping newly posted people make the switch. So they're very good at it. And yeah, so you'll need to bring ID. You can visit this link. It's in the chat, like I said, for more details on exactly which IDs to bring with you, what's accepted as ID, what other documents that they'll need. I highly recommend doing that because they are quite particular on exactly what documents they need. Otherwise, you might find yourself having to make multiple trips there, like I did when I first moved here. So save yourself the trouble and check out what documents you need to bring. You'll have to have your valid out-of-province driver's license and also $65 for the annual license fee. And just a tip to help boost your driving record and get a better rate, you can bring a driver's abstract to cover the last 10 years, which you can obtain from your current or previous province's licensing. And you can also bring your claims history for the last 10 years, which you can get from your current insurance provider. So that'll just help you get a better rate. I feel like I've gone through a lot of stuff so far. Does anybody have any questions? Then I'll keep going. But yes, Jen.
Just wondering if you know whether the brokerage across from the base is any better than others to deal with folks coming from OutCan, specifically with teens who got their license OutCan?
I'd say it probably would be a good idea to go see them because it is something that they will have seen most
More
likely.
likely? Okay.
Yeah, more likely than other branches. Yeah, I'd say
Awesome.
so. Yeah,
We'll try there. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Where are you guys coming in from? Now I'm curious.
Washington State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. Welcome back to Canada. All right. Any other questions before I keep going with employment resources? Right, then I will keep going. All right, so if you are posted in with a family member or a significant other that will be looking for work, you can visit, first off, our MFRC's employment resource hub. So that's got some information not only for spousal employment, but things that are open for, like I said, if you have teenagers or anything like that, there's some tools on there that are open to everyone. So it's a great spot to check out. And then more so specifically for military spouses or significant others, partners, you should know that they do have access to a program called Career Coach. So it's through CFMWS, and they get access to, I believe it's 5 free sessions of coaching. So it can be either over the phone, virtually, video chat, whatever you're comfortable with. And that coach will meet you where you're at, whether you need help with developing your resume, or if it's job search, or if you even just want to kind of see like, what do I want to do? Kind of looking at the skills that you have and what your options are. They'll meet you where you're at and help you go from there. Another great resource is the Military Spousal Employment Network. Sorry, a lot of people have been reaching out asking me if I know about any jobs openings on base for civilian family members. So that's a great spot to check out for that. And actually, speaking of that, they are having a virtual career fair this month. So great time to check them out. I did include the registration, the link for this career fair in the chat, so you can check it out there and you can register right away. And I did a little test run, and it seems like you can register for the career fair even without being a member of the Military Spousal Employment Network. So even before you register, don't quote me on that. If you get, through the registration and it stops you, sorry. I didn't want to register all the way because I'm happy in my job and I think I'll stay here. But either way, it's a great opportunity to find out some more about some companies that are hiring and looking specifically for military spouses to hire. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for anyone relocating and looking for something new. Safety information. I always feel a little mixed feelings giving this slide because I know that when people hear Winnipeg, 2 things, unfortunately, that come up often is the cold and crime. People usually have heard not so great things about the amount of crime in the city. So that's why I added this slide in here just to kind of try to quell some fears a little bit. So I'll start by saying Winnipeg is a very big city. So therefore, higher population, well, of course, with that goes higher crime rates just because more people, more of everything, including crime. But all that to say, really, as long as you observe some best practices for living in a larger city, like locking your doors, storing your valuables appropriately, like not leaving nice brand new bikes in the yard, not locked up, or leaving your car doors unlocked overnight, then you'll be fine. There's a lot of really wonderful neighborhoods and areas in the city where you'll feel safe. And if it is something that really is weighing on you and you want to look further into, you can check out the Winnipeg Police have provided a crime map and a calls for service map. It's not a bad thing to look at if you're looking at buying a house and trying to decide what area to look in. Just know that this map captures everything, every single phone call, right? So there's going to be numbers everywhere. You're not going to find a certain place in the city where there's 0. And if you have, then let me know, because, how? It's probably an open, empty field, unfortunately. But yeah, anyway, all that to say, Winnipeg, don't worry, it'll be okay. It's not a scary city. If you are looking at PMQs or RHUs, however you want to call them, you've probably heard through the grapevine that there's the North queues and the South queues, and you're probably wondering, what's the difference? Where are they? So I highlighted a little map here for you guys. So just to give you a general idea, up here is the base. It's a lot bigger than that. That's just what I could fit in the screen. We here at the MFRC are right around here. Closest is the financial. The row housing is all up and around here. The North PMQs is right here. They're a much smaller area. Then the South PMQs are all the way down here. That being said, from the South PMQs to the base, it's really just like a 10-minute drive. It's really not that bad, 10, 15 minutes, depending on traffic. And yeah, the only difference, of course, is in the North PMQs, if you work at OneCat or something like that, you could probably walk to work if you wanted, or bike to work somewhere else. And then, of course, the South queues, I mean, you could, it'll take longer. But yeah, the bright side of the South queues, though, is you're closer to a lot of really great shopping. And you're also closer to Assiniboine Park, which is a really gorgeous park that you should definitely check out when you get here. There's some beautiful English gardens, the Leaf is there, all sorts to do. If you want to get on the wait list for an RHU, you can contact CFHA. The sooner the better. And then just to give you a little bit more of a glimpse into what that looks like, this is the row houses. So like I said, the MFRC is right here. This is how many row houses there are. You can see the legend here. 2 bedrooms is blue, 3 bedrooms is pink. And then here is the North PMQs. You can get a little bit of an idea of how many units. I have no idea how many are vacant right now. That's not something that I'm privy to, but this is just to give you an idea of how many there are and what that kind of looks like. And then, of course, there's the South PMQs, which, as you can see, there's a lot more of them. So yeah. Any questions on that? Okay. So I wanted to share real quick before moving on to kind of the second part, ways to connect to your new community. Of course, relocating is not easy, especially if you're moving someplace where you know absolutely no one and you're rebuilding your support network, rebuilding kind of, your friends, your people. Not easy. So we want to provide you with some opportunities to do that. So I will be hosting some virtual events throughout the year. One of them is called, so the virtual one, sorry, is called Settle in Winnipeg. So this is going to be something that happens once a quarter. So the first one is happening at the end of June. And it's just going to be an opportunity to meet other newly posted individuals, gain some helpful information about relocation and kind of dealing with the stresses of that, and to build some new connections with your community. So if you're interested, I'd love to have you join. It'll be like meeting me like this, except you guys will all get to talk too. Or just listen. If you're not comfortable talking, that's okay too. If you're looking for something in person, I will be doing a couple kind of larger scale welcome to Winnipeg sorts of events. There'll be one for families probably in September, and then another more so for adults only. I like to do it more so January or February because I feel like that's when it's cold and it can be a little hard to get out. So it's a good time to get out and make some connections. So yeah, and then otherwise there's also our community conversations. This is actually a volunteer-led program. So it's completely run by our volunteers. It happens, there's a daytime one that happens here at the MFRC a couple times a month. So you can see the dates there. If you're arriving before then and you want to come by, they are basically just grabbing coffee, having some good conversations, having a couple laughs, and just a good place to make some new connections. And then they also get together once a month in the evening. I will say that they do pause the daytime one for the summer months just because everybody's busy in summer. But they still do the evening ones. So if you are newly posted in looking to make some connections, it's a great time to come in. The new poster for the summer one is not out yet, but it will be happening the last Wednesday of each month. So yeah, if you're interested, you can let me know and I'll make sure to get that information to you. And then all other events and activities coming up, you can follow this link. It's all on our website, and that's in the chat as well. So lots of great opportunities to connect with people. All right, so any questions before we move on to schools and childcare and all that kind of stuff? I feel like I've been talking really fast, so I'm sorry if I went a little bit too quickly through certain things. Feel free to ask me to back up to anything that I cruised through too quickly. Any questions? No? Okay. All right. Well, if there aren't any questions, I will keep going. But like I said, now this next part is going to be about schools, childcare, that kind of stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, I just changed my view and I got to see myself for the first time, and I see that the sun is blasting on my face, and I look really strange. Sorry about that. All right, I will move on to schools and all of that good stuff. So if you don't have kids and you're like, see you later, that's okay. I'll see you when you arrive to Winnipeg. All right, so in Winnipeg, there are 6 school divisions in the Anglophone school district alone. So I know that's a lot. You're wondering, where do my kids go to school? So there's a handy link that I've included in the chat here. And it's to help you find your school. So you can use your postal code or the area that you're thinking of settling down in, and you'll see the catchment area. And you can go from there. There is also important to note that the Anglophone school district does include French immersion as well. So there are French immersion schools. And then there's also like Anglophone English only schools. I believe they have a French class, but it's not a French immersion like the other. And then there's also the District Scolaire Franco-Manitobain. So that's the Francophone school district, and that's admissible to any families that have either a Francophone or French-speaking parent or grandparent. Exceptions can also be made on a case-by-case basis with a formal application. So yeah, so if that's something that you're interested in, you can check out that link as well. There's also numerous private schools. There's lots of private schools here in Winnipeg as well. So if that's something that you're looking for, you can reach out and I can also help you find some information on that, or you can probably do a pretty quick Google search and find that as well. Important to note, most schools in the area have a half-day kindergarten. I know some people relocating, I believe it was from Ontario. That's usually a bit of a surprise because I think it was Ontario that has full day. And of course, it leaves people who are working and need to have their kids in school full day in a little bit of a lurch. So if you do require full day kindergarten, feel free to contact me. I know I was able to get a list last year of the few schools in the city that did do full day kindergarten, and I'm just waiting for them to get back to me with that list again this year. So hopefully I'll be able to provide that to you soon. Yeah. Is there any questions about school before we continue? Also important to note that it's 5 and up, so people starting kindergarten this year, it would be kids born in 2020. Yes, got a question from Jen.
Sorry, all the questions. I just wondered
that's okay.
if you know whether high schools are semestered. Nothing I can like find on the school district webpage for Pembina Trails at least indicates like how their system works, like whether it's semestered or same classes all year.
I believe high school is semestered, but I can definitely double check that for you. Yeah.
There's no worries. If you knew off the top of your head, it's fine. We'll be there for a couple weeks for our DIT. So if not, don't worry about it. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. I feel like it is. But yeah. That's something that I honestly would like to know the answer to, because you're probably not the only person wondering. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. So I wanted to share also some information about educational supports, because of course, with relocation, sometimes unfortunately it can lead to some delays just because of the stress of moving, but also because of differences in curriculum from province to province. So there's a couple options for you guys. There is a really great online tool called Schoolio. It was actually developed by a teacher who's also a military spouse, completely understands the stresses of moving from province to province. It's for kids kindergarten to grade 8. It's actually got everything you need on there for homeschooling. Like there's full curriculums for every single grade, but it's also a really great resource just for kind of supplementing education as well. Military families get a 30% discount on the monthly subscription, which is another nice thing that it's monthly, so you can use it as long as you want, and then you can just unsubscribe and you're good to go. And it's also a discount off of all of their other educational tools. A really cool thing about it is that you can actually input the province you're coming from and the province you're going to and the grades that you're like finishing and starting, and it will actually auto-populate like any differences in curriculum for you. So even if it's just like, I think they gave me the example of, I think it's rocks and minerals are covered in, I think it's 3rd grade in Ontario, but covered in the 4th grade in Alberta. So, if you're moving between those ages, then, you missed rocks and minerals and your kid will never get to learn about them. So it actually just like, whoop, here's the curriculum about rocks and minerals, and there you go. And that way there's no gaps. So it's a really great tool to use. There's also the online tool called Solero. It's a student self-directed learning resource, and it's for English, math, and science for grades 3 to 12. So for the high schoolers, this is a great opportunity to use that for them. And there's a military discount for that as well when you use your CF1 card. And then if you're looking for something in person, then there is Oxford Learning Centre here in the city. I know they do also provide online tutoring as well. And I know they actually have a lot of educational summer camps too. And they have agreed to do a bit of a referral deal with us. So if you go and tell them that you are a military family and you've been referred by the MFRC, they'll give you a discount, and then they'll contact us and give us a discount. But of course, we don't need that, so we just give that discount right back to you. So you'll save a little bit of money there as well on some tutoring services if that's something that you're looking for. Childcare, probably the biggest challenge for families relocating to, well, anywhere in Canada, but Winnipeg unfortunately is no different. If you do require childcare and you have not done so, I recommend you get on multiple waiting lists. There is a really handy tool here, the childcare map. So when you go in there, you can input the postal code for kind of the area you're looking at, and kind of use some filters to, narrow down what you're looking for, and it will give you all of the licensed childcare centers or in-home daycares if you select that you're open to that as well in that area. I recommend getting on the wait list for many of them. And kind of a best practice is even just reaching out to them every couple months, letting them know that you're still interested, and that it helps to kind of stay on top of their mind, so that they know that you're still interested, because a lot of people stay on a wait list and no longer need it anymore. So yeah, the MFRC does have a childcare center here. There are 127 spaces. However, there is still a fairly lengthy wait list for the childcare center here. Priority does go to newly posted people. So if you are on that wait list, yes, you are priority because you're newly posted. However, it is still a decent wait list. Let's see. In the case of a need for emergency childcare, there are some options as well. So there's the family information line that you can call, and they can set you up with some short-term childcare for free. And it's at a licensed childcare center kind of downtown that they have made arrangements with. However, we realize, of course, that it can be stressful when you're newly posted and you don't know the city yet. So we are also happy to do our best to accommodate you. So if you do need childcare on an emergency basis, or if you're here on your house hunting trip and you're looking for a little bit of relief so that you can go visit houses or whatnot, you can reach out to our childcare center. If you can give them a heads up of the days that you're going to be here, saying, I just need childcare for this 1 day, 2 days while I'm here looking at houses, then they can look in, and what they do is they kind of look at their ratio, they look at who they have in, they kind of move things around, and kind of just place your child in an appropriate place for their age group if they have the space for them. 9 times out of 10, they can make it work. Like I said, it's not a permanent solution to childcare, of course. Your child isn't enrolled in there full time, but at least it can relieve that need for the day. There's also the MFRC nursery schools. So here in Manitoba, nursery schools are kind of like a pre-kindergarten program. Some of them are 5 days a week, but most of them are 3 half days a week. And the MFRC here does have a nursery school that is managed by it. So it's the Westwind Community Center has their nursery school. It's for kids aged 3 to 5. This is a great option for if you have a stay-at-home parent at home and you're looking to introduce your child, just to other kids, get them some socializing experience and some just an intro into kind of the structure of school and everything. Their morning sessions are in English only, and their afternoon sessions are like intro to French. So there is some French in there as well. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to Karine. And for the childcare center's waitlist, you can contact Kim. And otherwise, there's some upcoming opportunities to connect with other families. So I like to host each year a play date in the park once a month from May until September. So we do it at different parks kind of all around the military community with hopes of, making it accessible to everybody. It's open to kids of all ages. It doesn't need to be little ones like you see in this picture. I pick good parks. I've got kids. I know what the good parks are. The first one actually will be at a park just behind the MFRC here. So a great opportunity if you wanted to come and say hi at the MFRC, but then also join us for Playdate at the park. I'll just bring some snacks for the kids, and it's just a great opportunity to meet with other parents and start making some of those connections. And then another thing that we're really excited about that's new, we haven't been able to have a play group here like mom and tots or like parents and little ones in quite some time, but thankfully we have partnered with an organization called Starting Strong that specializes in early childhood education and offers some of those programs all over the city, and we have offered them some space here. So they're actually hosting one of their play and learns here a couple times a month. So there's the upcoming dates for you, and then they will be restarting in September as well. They break for the summer, but they'll be back in September. So it's a great opportunity to get out of the house with your little one. It's for little ones ages 0 to 5, so that preschool age. So yeah, they do some stories, rhymes, songs. It's a good time. The little ones like it, and so do the parents. But yes, all right. So that's about it for me. Does anyone have any questions? Everybody again? All right. Well, I hope that answered some of your questions. And if it didn't, please feel free to reach out to me. You can call me, you can email me, you can stop by the MFRC when you're here on your HHT or when you arrive. I will be happy to meet with you. Oh, good. I'm glad it was helpful. Thanks so much for that. And yeah. Will the deck be available in the link? I can certainly send you guys the presentation if you like. Yeah, I can definitely send that to you. And we will be uploading the presentation onto YouTube. That's what we did last year. It was just the easiest way to distribute it. So even if you know other people that are posted to Winnipeg and weren't able to join, I will be sharing the link to the YouTube video as well, and you can feel free to share it with anyone else. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. And I look forward to welcoming you to Winnipeg. I've got little goodies in my office for the kids when they arrive, some little toys and lollipops. So yeah, be sure to bring them by. All right. You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great evening.